I recently had a conversation with somebody that's almost done with their schooling, that's looking to get their license, and they had a ton of questions on Real Broker and all the information they needed to see if it was the best brokerage for them. So I'm basically just gonna talk about the questions that they asked, and hopefully if you're looking to get your license or you do have your license and you're somewhere else, these will be a lot of questions that you have on your mind, and hopefully I can answer them to see if Real Broker is the brokerage for you. So the very first question they asked is, what's the commission split for Real Broker? So here at Real Broker, we have a 85-15 commission split with a $12,000 cap. Now what that means is, if you're not aware, is that 85% of your deal every time you close something is going to go to you, and 15% is going to go to the brokerage, and you're going to pay 15% out of every single deal until that 15% amounts to $12,000. Now that could be 2 deals if you sell a couple $1 million worth of houses, or that could be anywhere from 8 to 12 houses if they're a lot lower end deals. So if in your mind you're like, okay, well, how do I cap? How many houses do I have to sell? Just take 15% of a commission check and see how many houses you have to sell. Now with that is that when you reach that cap, you make 100% of your commission. So no longer do you have to share 15% to the broker. You make 100% out of your commission. Now, once you cap and you're making 100%, you have a $285 fee per transaction until you hit another cap, which is $6,000. Once you hit that $6,000 of paying $285 per transaction over and over and over, and that amounts to about 21 deals, you reach what they call elite status. In elite status with Real Broker, you automatically get about $12,000 worth of stock given to you by the brokerage. Now this stock will take 3 years to vest. So as of the recording of this video, it's June of 2026. So if I hit elite status in June of 2026, it will take until 27, 28, 29 for me to get that stock funded into my account. Nothing I have to do extra. I just have to stay with the brokerage, and then in 3 years I get $12,000 worth of stock. So that's just another incentive that you will get paid for being more of a high producer. But just to keep things simple, 85-15 split until you reach your cap of 12,000, then it's $285. 21 deals later to hit your $6,000 cap for you to be an elite agent. Then your per transaction fee goes down to $100 per transaction until you reach the final year of your cap. And what that means is, if your cap starts in March, you have 1 year until your cap resets. So then the following year, whatever month you join the brokerage, your cap resets and you start this whole process over. Does Real Broker have any monthly fees or annual fees? So Real Broker doesn't have any monthly fees, and I believe that's a huge benefit, because especially if you're a new agent, or maybe you're an experienced agent, you go through a couple of lulls of a couple of months of not selling anything, you have no required fees that you have to pay Real Broker. But they do have a yearly fee of $900. So how they do it is that they take the yearly fee out of your first 3 transactions. So your first transaction, they're gonna take a $300 fee, and then $300 fee, and then $300 fee finally for your for your third transaction, and then you have no more yearly fee. I was part of different brokerages where we had anywhere from $60 to $120 a month fee, no matter if you did business or didn't. I prefer this model better, because if I have a low month, I don't have a fee that I have to pay out of pocket. So we do have a fee, but it's a yearly fee taken out of your first 3 transactions. The other question I got is, what's a CRM, and does Real have a CRM? A CRM is a customer relationship management. That's just a fancy term for where you put your clients, where you put your leads, and how you interact with them. So I would just use a spreadsheet. I put on there, contacted this date, here are the notes, contact again this date. It can be as simple as that. Or it can be as sophisticated as using a really nice software to put them on a search, to do email campaigns, text message campaigns, and so many other features. So that's what a CRM is. Does Real Broker have a CRM? Yes, we do. We have partnered with Lofty for that to be available to Real agents. Now, this is something that goes back to the monthly fee. This is not something that's required. Real allows you to opt into it, and if you do opt into it, it's about $40 a month. If you were not part of Real and you wanted to get Lofty, I believe it's about $500 a month. So just by being with Real, you get a huge discount, and it's only $40 a month. So that's something for you to be aware of. You don't have to do it, but more than likely, it would be suggested to you if you have a mentor, if you have a coach, for you to use the CRM to have everything organized, to set them up on searches and things of that nature. The next question is, how do you get paid once you do have a contract and you close on the contract? Here at Real, we have something called Reason, which is a dashboard that has all our deals in it, has all our information. Everything you need is centralized in the Reason app, which I love this app. On there, you have all your contracts, you have your checklist, you have your comments and your details for all the transactions. So when you close something, you have to submit your final transactions. You have to submit the proof of payment that the commission is going back to Real. And once it's closed out, depending on how you have things set up, you're typically going to get paid either same day or the very next day via direct deposit. At Real, we have something called Real Wallet, which is another question I asked. What is Real Wallet? I searched that and that came up. Real Wallet is basically a bank that partnered with Real, and I believe they're trying to buy it eventually. That's not for sure. That's what I read somewhere. But anyways, it's a bank that's partnered with Real, and you get a physical debit card. It's like opening up a checking account and a savings account. You get a physical debit card that's attached to the Reason app. So you see all the money that you're getting paid. And then from there, you can actually split up your direct deposit from your commission. You can have, 80% going into your checking account, and they have a tax planning account that you can split up the tax money, either 15, 20, 30% that goes into the tax planning account, and that way you save for your taxes. Very important note, if you're a new agent, you need to save for your taxes. I messed that up the first year and I owed the IRS. Luckily, I was able to get past that. But you need to save for your taxes so that you can pay your tax bill when taxes are due. So Real Wallet is something that the company offers. Now, you don't have to use Real Wallet. You just get paid a lot faster. For me, when the transaction gets settled, I get paid anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes. The money is in my Real Wallet account. Again, I can use this to go grocery shopping, put gas, put whatever it is I want. And then on the Reason app, I can actually send money from the Real Wallet to my personal checking account, wherever you have it. And it's like doing a wire. If you do it early enough in the day, it's there in the afternoon. But typically, it's there the very next morning at 8 a.m. So that's how you get paid here at Real. Another thing is, how do you communicate with your broker? If I need help, who can I call? What's the process there? Again, going back to the Reason app, you have a platform that has everything centrally located. And you can actually message your broker or compliance team or transaction team, whoever you need to talk to there on the Reason app. You also have the app on your phone. So with the app on your phone, they have Leo, which is the AI integrated into the Reason app. And on there, you can go on your phone and say, I want to call my broker, and it'll actually ask you, do you want to create a support ticket? Is this something that can wait? Or do you want to call your broker right now? You can actually call your broker from your phone. And once you're talking to your broker, the cool thing is that the AI is integrated into the call. So it can actually listen to your call and it transcribes your call and it gets saved into the Reason app. So no longer when you're, maybe you have a compliance issue or you have a contract issue and you don't know what wording or verbiage to use where in the contract, you can call your broker and be like, hey, I'm in this situation. This is what I need to do. What wording do I use in my contract? And as you discuss with your broker and they're like, hey, you need to put X, Y, and Z in this, special steps location. And then you hang up the phone. You're like, oh man, what did they say? What was the terminology? It's dictated already in the Reason app, and you can actually just copy and paste whatever they talk. So it keeps a transcription of everything you've ever talked to about your broker, which I love that you can easily access. But you also have a text message feature. You can also put a support ticket. Every single transaction has comment section. So if it's a deal with the current transaction, you can make comments there and everybody responds there. So it's very easy to get in contact with your broker, and everything's centralized again with the Reason app. Now, the next thing that they were kind of confused is the revenue share, or joining a team, because they've had people that were friends that were other agents and they're kind of looking to get back into it, and they're like, hey, I'll join your team. And I have a team here in my area, and they're like, what does it mean to join your team? And I was like, okay, well, first off, you're not going to be joining my team, right? Because here at Real, you can recruit people, and a lot of times they think that you're recruiting them to your team, but in reality, what you're doing is you're not going to be joining my team specifically. You're going to be joining my downline. And she's like, okay, great. What does that mean? So at Real, to join Real, you have to join under somebody. And what that means is you're going to be in their revenue share downline. So for example, my friend A joins under me. They are in my first level of revenue share. And we have 5 layers deep. Level 1 is 4,000. Level 2 is 3,200. Level 3 is 2,400. Level 4 is 1,600. And level 5 is $800. Depending on where they land there, if they were to cap over the year, I would make that total from them if they were to cap. And she was like, wait, so do we have commission splits? So I have commission split with the brokerage, and then I have a commission split with you. And I was like, no. The way that this works is that from the 85-15 split that you have with the brokerage, that 15%, they give around 50 to 60% of that back to us agents in the form of revenue share. So I take no money from your personal commission check, which I love because I don't like taking other people's money. You do your job and you grow and you make money, and I get compensated for helping you grow, which here at Real, we help everybody grow. There's no longer like, well, if you didn't join my downline, I can't help you. You have to be able to help everybody. If you offer something to one person, you have to offer it to everybody, which I love because there's a ton of masterminds. There's a ton of coaching and things that you can plug into that people give back to the community. So just for this example, I let her know that out of that 15% split, the more you close and the more I help you, the more I am incentivized in the form of revenue share. And also I gave her the other example. If you have a friend that's going to join you, they would be in my second level. So again, I'm also incentivized to help you help that friend, or I can personally help that friend to help them grow because we all win. And that's basically what revenue share is. And I let her know too that you can actually retire off of this. I believe if you do, after a certain amount of years of production, you can actually get up to 100% of your revenue share. And that's how a lot of people recruit a little bit more or just help other agents grow their business. And they're able to generate revenue share and even make a living off of it because you can grow it to a big enough amount to where it can either replace your real estate income or it can definitely supplement for retirement. And you can use that money to invest and do other things in the industry. Another thing she asked was the community. How do I get in touch with people? How do I connect with people? And this is a question I get a lot from people because we're a cloud-based brokerage. We don't have a physical location, a physical office that we go to. So this is something that you're gonna have to put work into. You're gonna have to find friends in the area that are with Real Broker. We do have a lot of events that go on year round. Sometimes depending on the city, if it's a bigger city, there's a lot more local events for Real Broker, but you're gonna have to reach out to people, make connection, go to coffee shops and work together sometimes. I know every now and then we get together like maybe once a quarter and go to coffee shops and work together. Sometimes people get together every week. Once you get busier, or depending on how you have your business structured, you can meet with people a lot more often or not as much, but it's going to be on you to build that community. But something that I will say is that no matter how high end of a producer somebody is, I've never had any issues connecting with somebody or getting on a Zoom call or asking for help. And that's something that I was really surprised at Real, because I've been part of other brokerages that once they get to a certain level, you can't get in contact with them. But nobody that I've tried to get in contact with, except the CEO. I've never tried to get in contact with the CEO, but from what I've heard, he's super accessible. I've gotten in contact with the CTO, the CMO, so many different people at Real, and I love that about the community. Everybody's willing to help. Everybody's willing to share whatever they're doing so that everybody can grow and succeed together. So that's kind of the basics of Real Broker. I hope I was able to answer a lot of your questions. If you're looking to get into the industry, or maybe you're agent somewhere else and looking to get to Real Broker, if you have more questions, reach out to me. I would love to help you. Shoot me a message on social media. Let's get together. Let's get on a Zoom call, and I can answer some of the questions you have and see if Real Broker is a good spot for you. With that being said, until next time, take care and God bless.